Okay, in this video we're going to talk about Dunder Init, what is it, and what is the big deal with it. So here on the screen you can see that we have a car class. There's 3 attributes, make, year, and color. What we're going to do is we're going to print this object 1 after we create an instance of a car, and we're going to see what happens. I'm basically getting the Ferrari, the year, and the make, and I'm doing that with dot notation, object1 dot make, object1 dot year, object1 dot color. I'm doing so because I instantiated an object with object1, and then I can do dot notation to grab properties or attributes, and we can grab methods too, even though there's no methods here. So what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is that we don't have a constructor. A constructor means we don't have a way to give this instance some dynamic, some changes on the fly, right? So if we make another car, like object 2, and we print object 2, the same thing here, right? But instead of object 1, we say object 2, and just copy and paste object 2. We'll save it and run it. And we'll see that they're just clones. These objects are just clones. We don't want to keep doing this. Every class shouldn't be just a clone of one another. There should be, there should be some flexibility to change this to a Honda, to change this to a Toyota, to change this year, to change the color. That gives objects more power, right? So that's where the Dunder Init comes in, because the Dunder Init says, look, every time you instantiate this object, this function, this Dunder Init function is going to run. If you don't create one, if you don't create a Dunder Init, we can see that one gets created for us underneath the hood, and that's fine. But what we want to do is we want to have the ability to change it so that we don't have these, in this case, for all of them. So if we say Dunder Init, and we're going to bring in the make, we're going to bring in the year, and we're going to bring in the color. Of course, we forgot to say def here. Then we're going to say here self.make equals make, self.year, do the same thing. And here we talk about just assigning these attributes, right, to the instance variables for this object. So if we do that, now we have to call that here as well, right? When we invoke it, we can say something like Ferrari, and we can say something like the year, and then we can say something like the color. Then we can do the same thing here and say something like Honda 2023, and the color, let's say gray, something like that. Now if we save this and we run it, when we print it, we see that we do get different attributes. And this is the whole take for Dunder Init. You can give your instances the attributes that you want them to have, and they're not hard-coded like this. By the way, this is called instance variable. These are called class variables, right? This is these are values that are going to be shared amongst all the car instances. These here, these are called instance variables. These are called instance variables because these variables are only corresponding to this object that we're currently working with. In this case, the one that we're creating here, which is object 1, and in this case, the one that we're passing and creating here, which is object 2.